Previously, we talked about why to invest. Now we will talk about how to actually invest. So, how do you buy stocks? There are two basic ways that you can buy stocks. You can buy individual stocks. For example, you can buy Snapchat stock, where you can buy one stock at a time or multiple Snapchat shares at a time, and you would get charged a trade fee each time you purchase a stock this way. You can also buy a bunch of stocks in different companies at one time. This is called a mutual fund. In a mutual fund, that fund could have 100 or 1,000 or more stocks, and you would only own a small part of each stock. You can put any amount of money that you want in this fund, from $10 to $1 million. Some mutual funds try to pick stocks that they think will do good this year. Some just buy all the companies in the market and hold them. This is called index investing or an index fund. So, paying for investing for individual stocks. Often, when you buy individual stocks, you'll pay a transaction fee for each purchase. It's usually the same fee if you buy one stock or 100 stocks. This purchase price becomes important depending on how you want to calculate your return. So, if your stock is $100, you pay $5 when you buy it and $5 when you sell it later. And your stock is worth $100, but you spent $110 to buy or sell it. Your stock has to go up to $110 just to pay for your trade. So this becomes less impactful if you buy $5,000 worth of stock, but many people aren't buying $5,000 of stock at a time, especially when they're starting. There are some websites that don't charge for individual trades, but many do. So you just need to be very aware of what your costs are when you're purchasing individual stocks. You also need to pay when you're purchasing mutual funds or index funds. So when you buy an index fund, you pay a percentage of the total money that is invested each year. This is called an expense ratio. So you want to find a fund that has a low expense ratio. There are some funds that have very low expense ratios and some that have very high expense ratios. So the lower the expense ratio, the more money that you keep for yourself. There are some funds that charge you a percentage of your money up front. So if you give them $100, they take $5 every time. This is called a load and makes your money worth less. You want to avoid loads. So you shouldn't run into loads anytime soon, but I just wanted you to be aware of them. So always ask and understand all your fees when purchasing stocks or index funds. There are also many other things you can invest in besides stocks. For example, United States bonds or government bonds. These are safer in that they're less likely to go down in value, but they also grow slower than stocks, usually only 1 to 3% a year. Companies also issue their own bonds. They're slightly more risky than government bonds, but less risky than stocks. REITs are real estate investment trusts, which are similar to stocks, but are real estate instead of companies or businesses. You can purchase individual houses and rent them out. This is just a much more localized risk, but also can have higher returns. You can also create your own business and put your money into that, or you can invest in your own education. So anytime you have you get any money, you can think about all of these different ways that you can invest it. So some keywords to remember from this whole presentation is your budget. You want to spend less than you make. Inflation, your money is worth less in the future than it is today. Investing, making your money work for you or growing your money. And a stock is a part of a company. So some questions that you want to ask yourself to determine if you really understand all these presentations. What is an investment? What is a stock? What is the stock market? What can you invest in besides stocks? What is inflation? And what is interest?